fine. Look.
How was DCS? How was DCS?
So you're a little low. It was good. Yeah, it was really good. They explained the radar warning system and and some matching and that kind of stuff. So it was good, really good.
I had a peek at the screen for a moment and I saw you crack. I thought, what if that's the level of skill? Did you? Were you shooting each other?
Yeah, just we were practicing just to see. Like we were launching Fox 3s that you should infrared, radar guided method just to show how the radar warning receiver goes from you're being tracked, you're being soft locked, you're being hard locked, and there's a missile incoming. The different levels of escalation.
You get that panicky bleep, 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 bleep noise.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to die.
Well, in the end, I managed to notch and avoid both radar guided and infrared missiles. So cool. A lot of practice, but the systems kind of make sense. Well, I suppose like anything when someone explains them to you. Oops.
And you'd like to think that makes sense, being that they are things they are using. I mean, they're using them for a reason, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's enough of this.
See what I didn't put mine.
What's next?
What the hell is the 90s roguelite? General.
So your board doesn't have like some kind of auto overclock section, or?
I don't think so. Not that I've seen.
In the is it an Asus board?
Yeah.
It's normally called something like AI tweaker or something like that. And sometimes it can be like, often the Asus BIOSes have two modes, advanced and simple.
Yeah.
And in the simple mode, they're right on the home page, just like it's not very clear, but just like a little kind of thing with it, like almost as like a fan symbol, and you click on it.
Yep.
And it goes through like Asus Optimal and some various other modes.
Yeah. Eco, normal, and performance or something. Perf.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
one of those should be just auto, or give me the best auto clock. Give me the best auto overclock possible. And that for me, it tries to, for me and my system here, like for Ronin it's good, works fine, a lot of people works fine. For me and my system, it tries to do like a ridiculous 42% overclock, which the CPU just chokes.
Yeah.
But you can also
Go on.
I was just going to say, there's also usually a separate section called QFan. And you can go in there and automatically run it, and it will do a calculation and determine the best settings for your fans, and then the overclock takes that into account. At least on my motherboard, there should be a section where there's like a cooler score. Do you have that? Like where it shows you the numerical score for your cooler. Okay, maybe your board is not. I don't know.
It's a 450, so it's not a high-end board. It's not a low-end board. It's just a medium, average.
Yeah.
Average board. Well, I've got EZ or EZ for the system tuning. I've got power saving, normal, and Asus Optimal, which is red and angry. I already had that. But then that's what I've got in the simple version. If I go advanced, I can then I can type in like, I want this speed, please.
Yeah.
I can literally say, it's on 35, I want 37. Then it then says, target CPU speed 3.7 gig. Great. And I say, yes, exit, save, apply, everything. And then you get to Windows, it's like, yeah, 35. Like, no, 37.
But where are you seeing the 35 in Task Manager?
Yeah.
Could be Ryzen Master.
Yeah, gone now. still doing it.
It's still doing it.
Yeah. But then there's also, so I said, CPU core ratio 37, which means 3.7 gig. Great. And there's something called OC Tuner that keeps changing to OC Tuner rather than keep going setting. It's like it's never actually applying what I'm telling it. I can't work out why. Especially when a bunch of guys I watch say, yeah, you do this, you click apply. The end. Off you go. One page I found said, take out your CMOS battery, reset your BIOS back to normal, and then do it.
No, don't do that, yeah.
I mean, that's a bit hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to squeeze out a bit of free performance. I don't want to be ripping what is basically my work PC. Well, I'll be interested. This seems like such an obvious thing, like, give me more speed. Okay. Going. If I change, someone said change there's a custom CPU core ratio. So auto, I mean just type in what you want. There's also a manual with a bunch of whole sections of numbers, and I'm like, no, scared. Like
So
FID and DID.
What have you just set in simple mode? What have you just set it to that OC mode? Does it do anything at all? Or does it do it and then carry on?
That's what I already was in. Thing. Okay, auto. Auto everything. In fact, tell you what I do. No, I'm gonna do. I'm default. Give me default. Can't find default button. Oh no. Easy mode. This mode. Easy. Easy. No. If I think I've no fun. This is why I don't love doing it.
Heavy attacks. I stabbed him good.
Everything to auto. Everything. Every single thing, auto. You're a motherboard, you know what you're doing. Go mother.
And do you get a little message then during the post saying, 20% overclock applied or any...
But it just comes like Asus press delete to enter settings and then Windows popped up. Nothing fancy about it at all. It'll be something stupid, it always is. Like a little checkbox saying, ignore everything I just did. I am a fool.
Yeah.
On PC, play a flipping game. Have a little bit of fun. Back in a moment, if I can figure out how to end the call. How do you end the call? How do you end the call? Oh, there you go. Back on my.
Smashed him good. Oh shit. It's a real fight now. No more assists. Smashed his face. I smashed his face with a sword.
Hello.
It was nice. I am
What?
glad.
What was nice?
I smashed this guy's face
Oh, good for you.
with a sword.
I'm glad. Do you know, I thought it was crazy earlier, but when I ran Oculus Trade Tool, it made my Guardian go absolutely mental.
Say that again, sorry?
Like, you know the Guardian you get in Oculus?
Yeah.
Yeah, the shark cage. When I was running Oculus Trade Tool earlier, it kind of changed it and it made it only bits of it appear in each eye, so it didn't look real. Like this, like now if I'm waving my hand around, I can see this grid. There it is. Fine, real. But when it was in Trade Tool mode, for some reason it liked being in one of my eyes only, and it's all Sean's fault.
It is.
How dare you,
I
sir?
hear that about you.
Yep.
He is the best of boys, he's the worst of boys.
That's right. That's what she.
Sean, were you drinking St. Patrick's Day beer on the job today?
Yeah, I don't even know what that was. Just a container in the bathroom. I happened to be in the. But yeah, I
Oh,
was
you fat.
misspelling. I was misspelling Patty just to annoy Ronan.
Of course. That's my pastime, basically.
He didn't take the bait though.
He might later.
Yeah,
There's time.
there is time.
He's
St.
triggerable.
Patty. He is triggerable. St. Patty's Day. We got some cool St. Patrick's Day blueprints.
So you just found that in the bathroom, but
What, that can? Yeah, that can was just in the
Yeah.
bathroom. Yeah.
Jesus. Someone's having a good time in the forest.
I know, I couldn't really tell. I didn't like pick it up because who knows what the fuck's on it, but it wasn't obvious what what the container was for. It almost looked like it might be a reusable, like just an
I saw the
insulated
straw
something.
and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Wham, wham. What? Oh no. Wham. Ah. You like my red glow then, Sean?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Glowy, huh?
It is glowy. Very atmospheric.
You know, right? Like my shed's on fire, which is bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no.
That would be bad if somebody didn't call the fire department if they saw it. We just said it were orange LEDs. Instead it was fire. Oh lordy.
Where'd you get? Oh, there. Here we go. So, video. Where's advanced? Oh. Per application settings, select an application. Here we go. DCS. Give me. Why can't I be cut? Seriously.
What's up for?
Trying. There we go. Trying to. There's something. Was it Justin put it in the one of the chats earlier that you can tell DCS to kind of super sample down effectively, and then you tell Steam to super sample it back up again, and it ends up being clearer and faster, which makes no sense.
No.
But the video that was linked, the guy said I did this as a joke to prove it wouldn't work, and it actually worked really well.
That's whack.
Yeah, so I tried it earlier and it didn't. It looked a little bit clearer, but it absolutely murdered my CPU, GPU. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
but that was using Oculus Tray Tool. So now I'm going to try using Steam.
There you go. They did say Steam, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, it said depends on Rift. Use Tray Tool. Index. Use Steam. If
I
it's the G2, I forget what we said for the G2. Aiden. Did you watch it or did you not?
Sorry, say that again?
Hello. Did you watch that video that I think Justin posted about the upscale downscale thing?
I didn't know.
Oh, okay, that was.
Because for me, it looks fine, at least enough, so I just leave it as it is. Because
Wow. You with your
I like to dick
3080
around with-
and your 4K screens?
no 4K for me.
Are they not 4K, the screens? The screens in your headset?
Oh, maybe. Sorry, in the
Oh.
headset. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't even
whoops.
know.
Punch. They are the high res, I know that much. Can't remember what they are though.
I think it's 2K per eye, so probably I think that's how they count it.
That's 2K, is
Aha.
it? These are 2K, that can't be right.
Per eye.
It's like back in the
Yeah,
day
it's
when
3K per eye. Oh, never mind.
I don't know.
16-bit sound was just coming out for
Oh, yeah.
sound cards. They used to like say it's a 16-bit sound card, but it's really two 8-bit channels. They're calling 16-bit.
Oh, yeah.
I
Sorry,
remember all
fuckers.
those.
That's cheating.
Bastards.
It was the same when they said that the Mega Drive was faster, but they fluffed it. They added together. They basically just added together the CPU speed. They basically said the Mega Drive was faster than the SNES. Faster, but they just added together. I think the speed of the
Oh, okay.
yeah
The various channels or whatever.
They basically just found numbers that, when added together, was bigger, and we're like, this is definitely faster.
That's funny.
I love the old
No.
console wars. Remember
The
all
fuck?
like, oh, the 16-bit, the 8-bit.
Oh,
You're still on
Jesus.
16-bit? What's wrong with you?
That's funny.
I remember when 16-bit sounded like, wow, you can count to how many numbers? And you realise
Yep.
that that's not very high. I mean, even these days, 32-bit isn't enough. Like at work, we're finding that. Why are my hands not in the right place? That's good. That 32-bit integers are not enough anymore. We're running out of rows on tables. We need
They're
to
not
make
enough for
more.
what?
For database tables, 2.14 billion rows is no longer enough. We need
Oh,
we need
right.
biggins, which I think are 64-bit, which is what, 5 trillion or something?
Damn it.
Can't remember.
Don't even know.
It's a big number. I don't know that much.
This
Big
guy's
number.
murdering me.
Some fucker sitting down in the water shooting at people.
Aiden,
Not me.
we playing COD?
Oh,
I love that the controllers you get inside the headset in the virtual space actually look like, and all the buttons move as you're moving them. That's just cool.
that's cool.
That's essential. That's absolutely essential for what you call it? I can't remember the exact field of study. Human interface, or there something.
Human factors, something. Oh shit!
Yeah,
There's
I
a bad guy right behind me. Fuck.
Shoot him.
Okay, so now
It's a. What do you call it? Oh, it is a gunboat, so that would be very successful. Oh, there they all are.
So I've now got pixel density down to 0.5 and Steam super sampling at 200%, which in my book should cancel each other out.
But what happens? Anything extra?
It's well, when it loads, it freaks out. Like I get a loading screen, it's flickering like mad.
Yeah, I get that.
And if I look sideways, your eyes freak out because it hasn't recalculated the two eyes.
Got it.
But the headset tries to deal with it by just rotating the image, but it rotates both images as if your eyes aren't moving. And it goes crazy. It's just a DCS problem design with the Iron Man, was it?
Exactly. I was just gonna say, I think it's a DCS problem, and there might not be a really great fix for it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that stuff sounds like band-aids and stuff that people are applying.
Well, I mean, that's DCS. Is it a 1997 game engine that's been patched and patched and patched and patched and patched?
Which game?
I don't know the release
DCS.
date. Well, the release date on Steam I think is more like 2013.
Exactly.
Uh,
And
Oh, I'm not even looking in the right fucking place.
it's some insane thing. It's a bit like
Actually,
what's it called? Falcon BMS. That's 98, isn't it? It's that kind of era. Like the actual core of the game is crazy old, and that's why it's so horrendously inefficient.
Where the fuck?
DCS is laughable. They have the release date as 2018. Fucking assholes. Hang on a sec.
Really?
DCS. Yeah, they've obviously gotten away with updating that somehow. But if you go to the Wikipedia page, it usually shows you the actual game engine. Where I'm there now. Eagle Dynamics release was the 17th of October 2008. So the engine
DCS?
could, yeah, the initial release,
Damn,
Russian release.
that's crazy.
Uh,
It was a Russian
then
release?
The Russian
yeah,
game.
Alright.
Eagle Dynamic. Yeah, it's a Russian.
Oh, they're
initially
Russian. I didn't know that.
Yep. Did you not like the guy? One of the lead developers got like is in trouble. He went. He bought like manuals for the F-16.
Oh,
I think,
yeah, I read about
on
that.
eBay, and he went to
I
America
didn't
to collect them and got arrested.
I didn't realize it was a like a foreign intrigue. I just thought, yeah, I was unaware.
Okay, so I'm now in my cockpit, flying along, 45 FPS. Actually,
That's
okay.
what
It's
you
just that
wanted, right?
my hands aren't in the right place, though. Weirdly, my hands are like above my hands, which is really confusing my immersion because my brain doesn't understand that.
I second that emotion.
I like that you can actually grab the stick, although I can't anymore. Here you can. You know you can grab the stick in VR with the controllers
Hmm.
and fly
Grab your stick.
and
This
shoot
is my
stuff.
rifle. This is my gun.
Well, I'm fine, my gun. Hey.
This is for dancing. This is for fun.
That's right.
So
Now, where the fuck am I?
The funny thing is that was it same for you?
So when it was released in 2008, it used the same game engine as Lock-On Modern Air Combat, which had been released a couple of years before. So its game engine is based on a 2006-ish game engine.
Oh, okay.
Whoa!
But that 2006 game engine itself is based on older ones because really apparently nobody was just developing these things because they were hugely complicated to do. So even today, including Microsoft Flight Simulator, many modern flight sims are just using iterations of older. So because this work is so difficult to do, nobody has built a modern from the ground up engine for this kind of stuff.
Wow.
In 2015, it got a graphical update which introduced DirectX 11. But that's been the only major update to the engine.
Huh. And what are we on now? DX12.
Some games, yeah.
We're on DCS World 2.5, released in 2018.
I meant DirectX. That's what I meant.
No, I know.
DCS. Oh, okay, sorry.
But apparently DCS, they are going to introduce some of those things. Everybody, basically in DCS, everybody's holding their breath for the big update that introduces, as you said, DX12, proper clouds, and because if you notice I don't know if you've ever used BMS, but when you fly in BMS,
No.
it feels like you're flying an airplane, like you're flying along and you can feel the air around you. It's hard to say. It's kind of hard to say. Like the airplane
In BMS.
Yeah, in BMS, it drifts left and right, and
That's cool.
You get flows of air all around you. Whereas in DCS, it feels like the airplane's flying on a rail and just never deviates from it.
Okay, got
You
it.
think so?
Absolutely, yeah.
You surprise me.
Why?
I don't feel like that at all.
Yeah, but if you like if you put your airplane on a course or on a track, it will just fly it. There's no wind. There's no real world atmospherics happening at all. And that's a big
I mean,
thing that's missing.
I've seen that. I've had wind.
Oh, kaboom.
Am I misunderstanding? I'm curious.
No, you can program wind into a mission for sure, but if you don't do that, it won't be there naturally. There's no there's no like natural atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? There's no
Oh, there's no like, give me some weather, go.
No fluid dynamics modeling.
right,
Like
exactly. Yeah, so whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah.
also, even when you do add it, it's like uh, add wind at this speed or at this direction and this speed within this block of altitude from 1,000 to 2,000 feet or something like that. Whereas in something like Flight Simulator, it'll be you'd be like, add wind shear or just the basic modeling of the atmosphere that we live in is there. Like when you walk out in the street, you don't just walk along without feeling anything. You feel a wind on your face, you feel your hair blowing, you feel like
Yeah.
you're within an atmosphere. Whereas in DCS, if you don't set wind at the mission level, your aircraft will just fly along on a rail.
Whoa, fucking A, I'm stuck on this ladder. God damn it.
Relax, Shawnee, Jesus. Relax.
I
Hey.
know. Who's shooting at me?
Anyway, those are the major updates coming along. That's why Justin was like, clouds. Spooge
Whoa.
away.
No.
I'm waiting for that to ruin my performance.
Yeah, clouds are a motherfucker.
I'll
Yeah.
probably turn them off, which is the ironic thing. Oh, put it up. There we go. That was quite cool. I can't tell if this is clear or not, but I'm kind of in the high 40s of GPU usage right now.
Whoa.
So that's
It's
pretty
not
good.
very high.
No,
Damn it.
I'm still at 45 FPS. So GPU's got the headwind, but I think
That
it's just
was-
the CPU doesn't because it's got one or two threads.
What's your GPU, your CPU utilization like?
Hold on. Oh, that was bad. 26%.
So your CPU doesn't seem stressed at all. You're saying it's
Nice.
limited by the core count, or?
Yeah, well, I think DCS is at most 2 threads.
2 threads, right? Yeah.
So that thread can bounce around the cores all it likes. That's what they're supposed to do. But it's because it's one thread's kind of going, do this, wait for that frame, wait for it. Frame's done, right, now do the physics, do it, wait for it, do this,
Oh.
wait for that. Rather than just saying, spin up as many threads as you want and crack on, which is what modern games do. In fact, I've written an app at work that does exactly that. Someone helps
Whoa.
do it.
Say that bit again.
So modern applications will say, I want to do something, spin up a thread, create a thread for me, go off and do this work, and when you don't come back. That's what modern code does.
And what does
And on
DCS do?
multi-core CPUs, the operating system will share that work among the cores and the threads, will share the threads among the cores and off they
Whoa.
go. But in DCS, it's got basically one thread, effectively, running the show. I think it has got a second thread for some things, but it's basically one thread. So if you've only got
Okay.
if you've got 12 cores, so you've got one thread running, that thread can hop from core to core because that's just what cores do. They share the work, but it's always limited to one concurrent thread. So if I've got 12 cores at 3.5 gig, the thread's only going to run at 3.5 gig. 12 cores mean nothing to DCS. Whereas if you've got a 9900K at whatever you're at 4.5 gig, you've got one thread running at 30% more than I do. Plus the rest, because you've probably got bigger cache, you've probably got a more efficient CPU, all this sort of stuff adds up. So all I can do is overclock the absolute hell out of my CPU, which I can't figure out how to do, or upgrade my CPU. Pretty much.
I still don't get it. So your CPU is running at 25% utilization,
Yeah, that's not all
But it's
DCS.
still-
obviously.
but it's still the bottleneck.
Yes, I think so.
I don't get it. It's 75% left.
So it's like, imagine a busy restaurant. There's orders all coming in, and you've got one chef. That's DCS. Whereas, imagine the same restaurant, loads of people, with 12 chefs. That's Battlefield 5.
Is the chef the CPU?
Yeah,
So why is he saying he's only 25% utilized when he's like way more utilized than he is?
because that's 25% utilization of the entire CPU, not one core. If I looked at the core, well, you can't. Thing is, people say look at the cores because you'll see one core busy. You probably won't because the thread's bouncing from core to core. So overall, the CPU's only being underutilized. I have heard that it can help because you can tell Windows only use these cores for this executable, and you can tell tell Windows only use my physical cores, which is cores 0, 2, 4,
Yeah.
whatever it is, not the odd numbers, or the other way around, I can't remember. And apparently that helps, which I might try.
I really still don't get. So there's one thread. It's bouncing around multiple cores, but it's just not bouncing around fast enough, or the
That's not the
cores that
fact.
have it are not.
It's not the bouncing, it's the fact there's only one thread. It's like preparing dinner with only one hand. You've only got one hand, you've got to pick something up, chop a potato or whatever, put the knife down, pick up a spoon, stir that sauce, put the spoon down. You can do multiple things, but you can only do one thing at a time.
But surely it should behave the same on my system then, right? Oh, but you reckon the
Yeah.
extra clock speeds
Yours
and extra cache are
make a
accounting
huge
for
difference.
the...
Yeah. Yeah, your CPU is just better in every way. So therefore it will run better, and your CPU, your motherboard's probably more efficient in many ways. You've probably got more and faster RAM, which helps. The only game it's a problem with, to be honest, in fact, there's two games. One is Arma 3, but even people with PCs like yours won't get 60 FPS because it's
No,
written
it's a beast.
in blooming chalk on a board. In fact, I found somewhere once, and they said, "How do I make Arma 3 run better?" And they went, "Rewrite the code from scratch." Whoa, okie doke. And DCS. Everything else on my PC runs like a dream.
So then it's kind of an unfortunate situation in that you really don't want to spend money. Well, I mean, DCS is one of our, I suppose, it's currently one of our headline games in terms of the amount of money we've all spent on it, right? So
Yeah.
It's a tough one because ordinarily you would say, hey, you don't run properly, you're not coded well, I'm not spending money on new hardware. But this is one of our headline games, so it's kind of...
Yeah.
kind
And
of
I can play it on 2D. It's just, now I've tasted VR. Even
I know.
once you tasted it, you just want it. And it's so much more immersive. I was
just
playing
want it in your
F1
mouth.
2020 last night, and it doesn't do VR. And I was like, oh, I want VR. Give me
There's
VR.
I wonder if it's like headphones though, because whenever I can, I don't wear my headphones because I don't, enjoy the feeling. I wonder if
See, I'm
it's
the
similar.
I'm the opposite. Like, I think that
Yeah.
the sound is just far better with
Well,
headphones.
it is. It is. I
But if you
agree
don't
with
like it, you
that.
don't like it. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like
Mm.
wearing them. That's the physical part of it. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I was wondering if I would have the same sensations with a VR headset, if it would just be physically annoying to me.
Well,
It is annoying
the
that you can't
G2
scratch your nose, you can't scratch your eyes, but
Yeah.
the difference in the fact that I'm in an F18, yeah, it's a bit blurry because it's a relatively low res headset compared to what Aiden's got because it's a few years old now. But I'm
Right.
in an F18. It's 3D.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
I've just got to try
Like-
one of those. It's like
Like,
when
Oh,
I
yeah.
tried to explain TiVos to people back in the day, I couldn't do it sufficiently, or people
Well, look,
understood,
I mean,
or DVRs, I guess. But, yeah.
if the issue you have, Sean, is that you just like you have earphones touching your ears and pressing on them, and you don't like that, and I get that. The VR headsets can be handy. The CV one that Dan has and the G2 that I have more so than Dan's one they do have headphones, but they're not so much on the ear headphones as they are like hovering near the ear.
I see.
Mhm.
So I think
Got
Dan, your ones probably actually do touch the ears, but they're not that like they like
Very
touch the
gently.
ears.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
gently.
Yeah.
The other problem I have is I can't really put a finger on why I don't like it, because I don't really know. When you're saying that, I was thinking, well, why is it I don't like it?
I don't think it's uncommon. I think a lot of people dislike it.
The
I don't care, so I wear them all day long. But some people have little in ear want it to sit on their ears.
yeah, and I wonder if it's the weight of it.
Yeah, possibly. Or the compression, because they do squeeze your head sometimes.
Well, these are so comfortable, especially compared to the previous ones I had.
Oh
So,
man, Sean,
yeah.
you got to try like a Bear Dynamic, most comfortable earphones I've ever had.
Sorry, I need to adjust my volume.
Bear Dynamic 770s
Yeah.
are the most comfortable earphones I've ever had, and their philosophy is that okay, they're like 90, which is not, I mean, for a good set of earphones, it's not that much, but their
Right.
Bear Dynamics philosophy about all of their earphones is that that's a set of earphones you buy for life.
Oh wow.
And by that I mean that every single part of it is replaceable. Every single part. You break a little
Oh,
wire,
cool.
that sends you one. Yeah, exactly, Dan. Like the little velour ear pads, they can be replaced. The cushion that sits on your head is has a little snapping little
That's
snap
nice.
buttons. Yeah, you can
Oh,
replace every single part of it. The cable, everything. Yeah,
that's
so,
awesome. Hmm.
Yeah.
You said $90?
Beyerdynamic 770s.
Yeah.
Go from 90 to 100. That's
Well,
euro, so it might be a bit
that's
more
really
dollars.
really
But
not
you
that
can
bad
find a
there.
bargain. No,
God
for
damn it.
headphones it's not. They're the best sounding headphones I've ever had. Again, I'm not an audiophile expert, but they're amazing.
Yeah. They fucking just destroyed my
If you can go
gas
somewhere and
line.
try those.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
Oh, this is working. I'm now down. So I'm down. Pixel density is now 0.5 still, and Steam super sampling is at 300%, and I'm now. Let me just put this in
Ah. Fuck.
cruisy. That's not gonna allow me. What am I doing now?
What kind of
58%.
I'm in last place.
58%, and it's actually looking pretty good.
What kind of FPS you getting?
45 still, but it's stable, and that's okay. I can do it. It kind of judders now and again. But what I want to do now, I'm gonna do, is go back to standard and see how different it looks. Because this looks okay. Like I can see that says flat. I can see auto half full because I'm familiar with it, I guess. I can look in. Just lean forward a bit. Question will be how hard is it to read a normal.
Oh,
Then I've got to do it with a stick because I've read somewhere that sometimes when you got your hardware stuck in, that DCS then is part of it single threaded. It's kind of going, okay, there's the ground, there's the sky, there's the engine. What's the stick doing? He moved it a little bit. What's the throttle doing? He moved it a little bit. So it's kind of interfering with the loop, and therefore the whole thing slows down.
I see.
And you can do something to disable something that makes it better. Oh, there's smoke down there that moves. That's cool.
Yeah, I remember the first
Should
time
you-
I saw like a realistic. Oh Jesus! A realistic.
A realistic Jesus.
Yeah, a realistic Jesus.
Everyone needs
Realistic
one of those.
contrail from a jet. It was
Sound
like,
back into year zero. It's around Easter.
damn.
Right, put that back up to 1. And okay, then the game's going to bounce because
Ah,
it
Man, that
do
hog.
be that way. And then we change this back to 100%. Okay. Is it loading? Yeah, it is.
You blocking my view, asshole.
Blocking the view of the arsehole. Sexy.
Yeah.
You know
What are you doing over there?
Stop bring your real Jesus.
That's right.
So I was reading about the CV one the other day. My hand is still in one place. I didn't realise that when it was first shipped, the headset and one sensor.
That's
No,
right,
but-
yeah.
I didn't realise
Yeah.
that. I thought it was always 2, and then they released the second one to help with occlusion.
Hmm.
And I was reading something today that said that he finds with the 2 sensor setup, the best thing you can do in a square room, like I've got, is have them at opposite corners of the room. Don't do what it tells you. The whole on one side facing you, ignore that. Put one in that corner, one in that corner, looking down, and then make it deal with it. And it's really good. So I might try that as well.
What kind of sensors are they?
They're like infrared cameras.
Okay.
They're sexy little things.
Huh. Cool.
I think so. If you look at the controllers in this headset in the dark with a camera, a phone camera, you can see they're covered in dots.
That's neat.
So then the camera see the dots, can work out where you are, and off you go. I think Aiden's and the Quests have cameras in the headset instead, looking out. And I can get how they track the controllers because they're covered in dots, but I don't get how it tracks the room. It must. I don't know. Is it object recognition? Is it shapes? Is it lasers? Is it? I don't know.
Well, yeah.
What's
as
it
I
What's it
was-
tracking in the
as-
room besides you and the controller?
I wonder how.
But it has to know where it has to know where it is in the room.
Oh,
to deploy-
positionally, right? Got
Yeah.
it,
To deploy
okay.
the guardian boundary for start. So
I
know
wonder
that
if it's. Wonder if it's maybe they have a sonar sensor on there too. I don't know.
Well, I know that the G2, as Dan was saying, actually does take a visual profile of the room.
Mm.
Got
And
it.
so people who use a green screen have a lot of difficulty because there's no reference points and the headset doesn't know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I'm by a green screen. Still by a green screen. I'm by a green screen. No. Tell this human off. See, I get that. I get the visual because I've seen visual recognition of stuff. That's
Where
fine.
the
But
fuck are they?
if the Quest and stuff have infrared cameras,
Oh,
although you said,
Jesus
didn't you say
fuck.
you tap the side twice and then you
Scared the
can
shit out of
you
me.
could see through the cameras?
Yes.
So maybe they're not just infrared. Maybe they're kind of a more wide. They can do visible and infrared or something.
But when you look through them, they are not like. Bear in mind, I've only ever used that feature in a dark room, so it could be different. I suppose during the
Ah,
day.
okay.
But when you tap on the side, it looks almost like a hybrid between a regular camera and an infrared camera.
Hybrid.
Like,
Okay, yeah, that sounds like it's full spectrum then. I'll say full
Like, I
spectrum.
look I look around and I'll see like you could definitely have the headset on and walk around a room that you knew well. It's clear enough to do that, but
Yeah,
it's not like full proper, clarity, full
Yeah.
resolution.
of course. But you could easily you could recognise, oh, there's a desk here. I'll walk around that. There's a door. I'll walk through that.
Oh yeah, you could look at a person, you can see facial expressions, stuff like that. But it's
Oh,
like
okay.
Damn it.
it's like looking at the room through an old infrared CCTV camera.
Okay.
There's lots of noise. There's lots of
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Damn it.
Well, the thing is, I'm pretty sure there's again reading up on these things. There's hardware in this thing because apparently ASW is actually a few things, and one of the things it does is frame interpolation. So whether the PC is sending it 45 FPS, it's injecting every other frame to make it 90, which I think is ingenious. And of course, TVs have done that for years. So, why not? Actually, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But the Quest and the G2 obviously have much more hardware in there. So it's going to have
Fuckers.
gyroscopes, accelerometers. It's probably going to work out, even if you turn the cameras off, it can probably work out to a fair degree the fact you just turned your head left and stood up. I bet it can still detect that and calculate that. And then it must use the cameras to then kind of go, yep, good, I know, yep, I'm fine, everything's okay. Kind of adds it all into the equation.
Jesus.
Okay, so I'm now at pixel density of 1, 100% super sampling, and this looks exactly the same. And my GPU is 60. Okay, you do actually get a performance gain then by doing that.
Is it
It's
enough?
working. It's marginal. In fact, I think it looks a little bit like looking at the ground is a bit more pixel shimmering. So I'd say actually it's probably better to do DP down, super sample up. Well, this is you know what? This is good. This is doable. I'm going to leave it. Actually, should I do that? Well, what are we on? I've got to look through my nose hole to look at the usage. 60, hovering around 60 CPU.
So there is a performance gain, you think?
Oh, the CPU's working a little bit less. It's at 22% rather than 27. Or the 25. 25, isn't it? It's a tiny amount
I
of
think so,
difference.
yeah.
I can't blink and see it. 20, 23, 25. Do you know what? It's the same. It's basically the same. Right, next task is to plug in a joystick. Because, sticks bring me joy. What do I mind do actually? Pretty sure when I put DP down to 5, wait, actually not. What did Justin do? He did 0.7, didn't he? Down a little bit on the DP.
Damn.
And then up a little bit on the super sampling. Let's try that one out. In the interest of testing.
This guy's a fucking murderer.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing that does appeal to me about the Quests is the wirelessness.
Oh, it's It's cool. Oh my god, this guy's a fucking beast.
Beast.
That's fucking Viking with a sword murdering me.
Must be a Friday night out.
Standard Friday. Yeah, this game's better with a controller, for sure.
Which
I
game
can
is
tell
that?
you. Sorry. Go on.
For Honor? For Honor.
Oh, okay. Got
I'll
it.
say that correctly. For Honor. For Honor.
For honor.
For Honor. For Honor.
For honor. For honor, your honor.
For Honor.
Do 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 do. My forerunner.
It's such a good song.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Who is my Sharona?
I don't know.
It's mine.
No, leave her alone.
What's the old time? It is 11:30. It's all
Time to
good.
get ill.
What's
They used
tomorrow?
to say that,
Thursday.
kids.
Time to get ill.
That's a Beastie Boys song.
Yeah.
Because I bought them watches. They would never wear them. They'd be like, "What time is it? Time to get ill. Time to put on your watch."
Okay, so that's no bueno.
What's no bueno?
One button. So I'm just experimenting with different settings. I've gone down to 0.7
Oh,
pixel density, PD, not DP,
see.
200%. But I reckon if I do
You heathen.
0.5,
Look,
shaboosh,
somebody's there already.
and then leave Steam at 200.
Fuckers.
199 apparently. 200. There we go. I reckon it looks just as good, but you get a little bit of Allegro and Neo performance, which of course is going to be good when you go into multiplayer.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Some bullshit.
So, and I'll tell you a good example for the old multi-threading thing. So my tool I made at work, basically you give it a list of things you want it to do, and then it will one by one go and do them.
Mm-hmm.
And once it's done them, it then will on a loop kind of loop through the things it's done and monitor them and say, where is it, where's that one, where's that one, where's that one, where's that one. Just simple. And when I first did it, when you said go, the user interface would just kind of sit there and not move, even though it was a busy way of doing things. Talk to a database, grabbing information, updating the grid on the tool, go to the next one, yada yada yada. And it was only when a colleague helped me create a second thread to basically manage the UI that the UI then became responsive while it was busy, like every tool you've ever used. That's
Yes,
an example
yeah.
of 2 threads. In fact, he then did another one which spun up as many threads as it wants to monitor every single one of those tests concurrently, and then the tool is just
Two
like
threads, one cup.
crazy fast. All the threads and all the cups.
Shit.
Dirty boy. Free flight. Here we go.
He is. He's very, very dirty.
Dirty. Oh, I love that. Is that from Black Books?
Oh, damn it.
I don't know, maybe.
Have you not seen Black Books?
I've
Seen what?
seen a bit of it, yeah.
I love Black Books. Little British, what do you call it? Is it a sitcom? I don't know. Comedy program.
What's the show?
suppose.
What's it called? Sorry.
It's called Black Books.
Oh, no, don't know it.
It's this guy called Bernard Black, and he has a bookshop, and he hates everyone, and he drinks too much drink,
Yeah.
and it's just funny.
It is
It's just-
funny, actually.
It's just simple, silly humor. Like there's. So he lives
Of
in
course
this.
He's Irish, so he has to be.
He's Irish, yeah.
You know.
He lives in the back of
Cultural
this
in
shop, and he has a housemate who's a comedian, English comedian, who lives with him. And one day he's like, It's dirty. Everything's bad. I don't like it. I've got a cleaner coming in. He's like, what? You can't do that. No. And then this guy comes in this immaculate baby blue suit and a slick back hair, and he goes, "Your house is dirty. The cups are dirty." And he's going, it's not that bad. And he basically gets his white glove hand and he kind of runs it along nothing in the air, and there's a perfect grey circle of dust on his fingerprint.
That's pretty fun.
It's just that kind of silly humor.
All right.
I love it so much.
Thing
And
my
there's
mom would do.
one of my favourite quotes is, I think the other guy's parents are there, and then he comes down in the morning hungover and he sees him and goes, "Oh God, you're still alive." And I said that to my wife, lovingly.
Oh,
That's my best
God.
Irish accent, by the way. I'm sorry if it was bad.
It's alright.
I apologise profusely. Alright, what we got now?
I need to get in this fucking thing.
Okay, so running half pixel density and 200% super sampling, it looks exactly the same. Like exactly the same, and it's mid-40s rather than 60. So I'm getting extra headroom on the GPU, so
That's cool.
that's one way of doing it. I mean, it's not perfect. It's a bit of shimmer when you look at buildings, but I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, you're not going to be looking at buildings too often.
Well, I went on a helicopter. This is perfectly usable. There are limits because this thing's only so high res, and the buttons have got tiny labels because there's a million buttons. Like, I can't help that, and the whole zoom in feature is horrendous. Right now,
Oh, where's the next one? This way.
we shall now plug in a joystick and see what happens, which means I shall be AFK for 1 moment.
Jeez, this guy just murdered me.
Oh. I keep getting in these tanks and getting killed. What's that fucking thing? Oh. God damn it. These fuckers.
Wait, hello. What's that? There we go. There we go.
Held my own against him that time. That's nice.
Round 3.
That's confusing. There it is.
Fighting this gigantic, like,
That's what she said.
Right
Is
between my
what she
legs.
proclaimed.
Yep.
he's murdering me.
Defeat.
It's the wrong draw.
There
Damn.
he is. Damn.
Aiden, your friend, acquaintance, whatever, who said he works in VR like all day, every day.
Yeah,
How does he know where his keyboard is?
he can touch
Oh.
type. He doesn't need to see his keyboard.
Well, that's, I get that. I can touch that too, but like sometimes if you you take your hands off and you're maybe looking at things and you're stretching your nose or whatever, and you go back to type, you can't see your keyboard.
He
Like,
has
does it-
7,000 hours in virtual desktop. He knows how to find stuff.
No, but I was wondering if there was like a mechanism where you can have your virtual screens configured, but you can have a keyboard where your keyboard is. Like visually, because you know how if I put my controllers down in Oculus, I can see them. I just reach out and pick them up because I can see where they are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if you
there's
can
a
have
way. There
that-
is a way of doing it. There's a way of doing it, and some people have actually modified the Logitech keyboard that you and me have to do it
Yeah.
as well. So the G2 that I use, as I told you, it uses visible light.
Yes.
It uses visible light, so that's how it sees the controller. It doesn't use infrared like yours does. So a good example today would be a guy busted his controller, his G2 controller, like playing Gorn or something. He smashed it against the wall and broke the ring and the LEDs. So he
Whoops.
decided to explore a bit and found that they were actually just simple LEDs on a wire. So he was like, okay, well, he glued it all together. The
Yep.
LEDs were irrecoverably broken, and he just stuck on LEDs along the outside where they should be, and the tracking worked fine.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
That's for the G2 visible light, remember, not infrared.
Yeah, yeah.
And apparently there's a mod you can do where you can get your Logitech keyboard to emit just the right coloured light,
Oh, cool.
whereby it can be seen as well. It
Okay.
requires a few mods. I think there's a mod for virtual desktop you might need to add to
Yeah.
translate that light. But yeah,
That's cool.
it is pretty cool.
Round 1.
But honestly, I mean, you just reach out and I suppose you know what your keyboard is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I was wondering how if you could see a 3D representation in your virtual world of where a keyboard actually is, you would effortlessly just put your hands out and type, rather than kind of going, oh, it's here. Oh, there it is. Accidentally hit enter. Oh no, I just deleted in the database. Whoops.
Where are we
Not that I'm going to do this because I haven't got the resolution. I've kind of experimented for a few little here and there sessions. Going, well, what if I just have my screen? No, I can't read anything. Too fuzzy. But yours would be fine, I reckon. Alright, now we're flying with a joystick.
Oh,
Here we go.
Trying to throw a grenade. Throw.
no! I'm dead.
Actually feels weird having a real stick now. I've been dabbling with a hand controller so long. But this is easier, to be fair.
To be sure.
Round 2.
To be sure.
To be sure, to be sure. St. Patrick's Day today.
It
Yeah.
is.
Damn it. So,
Land.
you had a good day off?
I actually
Theoretically?
had to work, but it was alright.
Because it's heathens in the US don't celebrate.
No, it is a recognised salesman holiday as well, just to...
Okay. Just had shit to do.
Well, that's it, like a bit of a... What can we say? A chap in charge of a project who...
You shouldn't
is,
be. Don't know.
he's not the...
Round 3.
He's very focused on getting the job done to the
Oh.
exclusion of all else. Yeah. So it's a
Oh,
good
damn it.
See, it's funny when I first got this game and I did any flying like this. It just made me feel a bit because of all the motion, and now it just doesn't. Definitely get used to it, eh?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, the fact that I'm looking up there, I'm looking like up and to my left, very high, to see where the runway is, because that's where it is. So I'm banking at like 60 degrees.
And have you done any more, whatchamacallit?
Oh, this smooth.
Closed eyes and all that kind of stuff.
Not with this. With the flying and the driving, I'm okay. It's the only thing that upsets me is the sudden stops. Like now in a real car, when you come to a stop, you get a sudden jolt because the deceleration stops.
Yeah.
That upsets me a lot. So I just close my eyes for those bits. If I look sideways and I come to a stop, or I start moving from still looking sideways, I will probably be sick in about 10 seconds.
Right.
Like, it's really upsetting. But otherwise, like driving race cars, absolutely fine. Flying this airplane right now, absolutely fine. Although I can't remember what key my brake is, so I might be about to die. It's not that one. Oh, that's my shadow. That's cool. Don't crash. What am I getting FPS wise? Can't see. 45 FPS, and I can't even land. I can't see my keyboard. Where's W? I mean, I literally can't see my keyboard. Because it's under my shelf, that's why. Straighten up. W! We're breaking. Ah, okay, that makes sense. So, okay, again, one of the videos I was watching, the guy was explaining how ASW works. And
Hey, submarine warfare.
yeah. Adaptive, is it adaptive space warp?
Say it again.
Adaptive space warp, I think it's called. It's
Oh.
the headset on it receives 45, but you see 90 FPS because of the frame interpolation. And someone was saying you can see it because there's ghosting, especially around shadows, which makes sense. I'm looking at the shadow of my aircraft in the runway next to me, and it's kind of shimmering. That's because my headset's trying to insert frames that aren't there, and it's kind of getting it wrong.
Round 1.
But I mean, that's fine. I don't care.
I'm not doing very well with these tanks.
Oh no.
Sorry. It's okay, I'm coming.
Here now.
Defeat.
Alrighty. Next question is how do helicopters handle?
Round 2.
You in DCS?
That's where the fun's at. Oh yeah.
That's where
Disable
the
hot
fun's
plug.
at.
Oh, that's the button. Disable that. There we go. Okay. Right, so instant action in a KA-50. Free flight, that'll do. Give me some of that. Give me that action.
Very good.
Defeat.
Yeah, I saw they had a what was it, A6E. No,
Round 3.
it was A6A. I can't remember. It was an
that-
A6.
Aircraft.
Yeah, that's a Navy
Okay.
aircraft, but it's a multi-platform. And they've got a radar jamming variant. And I was hoping it was that, but it's not. EA6B.
Defeat.
Are these aircraft you're familiar with from real life?
No, the radar jamming system I'm familiar with,
Okay.
but that's all. But it's a. Can you do multi-crew? I guess you can do some, because I saw there's a radio operator on one of the aircraft.
In DCS?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the aircraft, of course, but yeah. I know the
Yeah.
F-14 can, but I think you both have to own it, and it's not cheap.
Ah, right. Like the EA6B is actually a 4-man crew.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's like one pilot and then 3 people running the electronic warfare shit.
It's like this thing. This is the well, you can't see what I'm doing, but the KA-50
Mm-hmm.
is a single seat attack helicopter
Mm-hmm.
by the Ruskies.
Right.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
But they only made 32 of them
Ah.
because then they made the KA-52, which is a 2-seat variant where one guy flies, one guy shoots.
Okay.
Because obviously this was too much for one guy. I guess.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it works in DCS wonderfully.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
great because you kind of like the F-18s and stuff are great. They're really fun, really fast, all this sort of stuff. But you're just flying up in the sky and looking at your radar the entire time.
Right.
and-
Exactly.
Whilst that's tactically great, it's not as much fun for little old me.
Right. I agree.
Whereas with this thing, you're flying between the trees and between the buildings,
Yeah.
which is why I want it to work in VR.
Yeah.
You know, you're low to the ground. Even though the shadows are turned down and the tree textures are turned down and everything looks a
Right.
little bit weird, I'm still
And you're
flying a
in
helicopter.
VR too, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool.
And then you get yourself into a good tactical position behind a hill or behind a building or whatever. and then you get into a good
Damn
hover,
it,
and then
get the fuck out of my way.
this thing can hover itself. Kind of maintains the hover for you. So then you look down at your controls and you start aiming your guns, aiming your weapons, and you pop up, shoot something, pop down again,
Cool.
and then you fly home through the trees again. It's like the sniper of this game,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just more fun. And if it ain't fun,
Yeah. What's
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm flying right now, 45 FPS. This is fine.
Round 1.
Of course, it's making it 90. Where's my landing gear? Is that my landing gear? No. Where's my keyboard? I can't see my keyboard. That's the only problem. Gear down. I have an aggressive backwards drift.
Whoa.
There we go. There we go.
Oh.
Defeat.
A fucking 5-minute reload in this LMG.
Round 2.
Nabbit. We lost Bravo.
Not Bravo. What?
Bravo.
I like Bravo. Bravo's my favourite.
Yeah.
Defeat. Round 3.
Ah. I was just trying to get close enough to kill their trophy system, but foiled.
Thwarted.
Thwarted even. Oh, sniped. So, do any of the aircraft have like eye tracking targeting?
Eye tracking.
The- yeah, like the Apache, I think does that.
I think they can have head tracking, but not eye tracking. I know.
Okay.
Of. This one does, but with a very narrow window.
Yeah.
Because the gun on the side can only look up and down so many degrees and a little bit left, but mostly right. But again, you're talking like 10, 15 degrees of
Right.
movement. So the idea is with this one is you've got like a visual camera under the nose, and it looks and zooms and pans as you command. And then when you find a target, you get the like a square. You change the size to kind of match what you're looking at, and then say that. And then it visually tracks that object, but it has to have contrast. So a black tank on a green field, easy. Black tank at night, it can't see anything, therefore it's useless. But then once you're tracking it, you can then you can activate a laser, which will go from your nose down to the target and launch a laser-guided missile, and off it goes. Or your gun, if it's within range of its movement, will just fire bullets at the object. But it will obviously, what's the word? Zero. It aims up.
Yeah.
Down to that distance, because it's got a laser, it knows how far it is. But then there's stuff like vehicles can have laser detection systems, and if you point a laser at them, they'll see you and shoot you first.
Right.
This is all fun. I like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of complex. It's complex enough, but not as complex as an F-14,
Right.
which is too hard for my little brain.
So I need a keycap that's got a nub on it for my W key.
What keyboard do you have?
It's a ducky.
A ducky.
A ducky.
What, the ducky?
It's just a keyboard with it's a it's a it's a 65% keyboard, smallish one.
Oh yeah, without the numpad.
Yeah, no numpad. Yeah.
Tenuculus, is that what they call that?
Yeah, except this is smaller.
That's smaller than that. No F keys?
Yeah. They combine some other keys and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's no function keys on this.
Oh, okay. Woof, woof, woof. crazy hill up here. I'm gonna fly up the hill. Full power.
Oh, got rid of it. But what I did on my other keyboard was I put a little super glue on the W key so I could find it, like the little home nubs on F and J.
Oh yeah.
But I don't really want to do that. So I was looking for some double shot backlit keycaps with a nub.
Is it a mechanical keyboard?
Yeah.
Cherry MX?
Yep.
Ah, that should make it easy then. If they're actual cherries, you'll get keycaps any old place.
There'll be some selection out there. Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to find a replacement control key for my keyboard, and it's £25, which is
For
ridiculous.
the key, for the
Just for the key, for one keycap.
And it's not Cherry, it's Logitech
Yeah, they've got their own.
proprietary.
Yeah, it's called Roma
Yeah,
G or
G.
something.
Can't remember what it
Yeah,
is.
that's it.
I mean, very nice.
Oh, Romer, that's right. Yeah,
I'm
I've
a
heard
big
they're good.
fan, but not when the keycaps break, which I don't normally do. This isn't a normal thing. And I'm receiving something, either a keyboard or a key. I don't know. The weight of the package apparently is halfway in between, so I don't have a clue what's coming.
I saw somebody had some stationery from Cherry, from like the 50s. It's kind of cool.
Oh, it's an old company, is it?
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
They weren't doing. They were doing keycaps. Yeah, can't remember who they're making keys for, but they had like a catalog. They're making them for IBM.
So I'm just flying through a tree-filled valley at apparently 90 FPS for a second there.
Oh,
No, I think the big difference is, Aiden, you might be interested in this.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest change I made was... Oh, actually, what was it called? Let me get the right name so I don't lie to you. Pulse. There we go. It was... Visibility range. Or visib range. The guy who video I watched said, especially if you're on VR, especially on an older headset, why bother having visibility anything other than low? Because everything's blurry anyway. And I went, And he said that has a massive impact on performance because you're if you render things within half a mile, you've got this many objects. You make that a mile, you've now got 12 times as many objects.
Right,
Like the difference is not exponential, it's like exponential squared or something stupid. It's huge. So he said, set it on low. Like, what do you want to know? So I said, interesting. And I've tried it, and that's what I think has made the biggest impact. I think doing the 50% pixel density and then 200% super sampling has given it a little edge of less work to do. But I reckon that visibility range is the biggest deal. But together, I mean, 45 I'm surrounded by trees. I'm like 10 feet above trees, as far as I can see. Trees everywhere. I'm flying a helicopter over them.
Too many trees.
This is glorious fun. And I'm getting 45 or 50, 45. Jumps up. It's not jumping down. That's the important thing. My usage is, I can't see, 50% GPU, 21% CPU. My RAM is not full. That's interesting. It is normally. Maybe that's the visibility range then. Put my fan on some hot. But if I can get this performance, well, I guess I can. Then that's made me a happy boy. I'd almost given up on DCS. Having tasted VR and then struggled to get the performance to work acceptably, I'd almost gone, oh well, never mind then.
Damn it.
Cried a little
Destroyed my
tear.
fucking gas mine again.
This is wonderful.
It's good, no?
He's good. Only trouble is, if I did upgrade to something like a Quest 2 one day, which is going to be, what, 4 times resolution? Ish? I don't know, a lot more pixels. Then my PC's going to die.
Many more pixels were confirmed for Dan.
But then, to be fair, why not just super sample down?
Again, he wanted many pixels, but we could not give him enough pixels.
Yeah,
their
I'll have to read
pixels.
up about super sampling. I don't know. Don't have any idea what that is.
Oh, it's very
That's
simple.
interesting.
It just means render it higher than it. So, for example, you're playing
Yeah.
1080. A friend of mine played, what's that game? Alien Isolation, which is really cool and slow. And pixel creep, if you're not familiar with that, it's when you got like one line of white on a black background and you rotate the camera like 1 degree, then it becomes a zigzag line.
Oh.
And then if say your character's breathing, that line goes left to right because it's kind of going up and down a tiny amount. And it's really distracting in a game like that. So he super sampled to 4K. So it basically renders every frame at 4K and
I
then
see.
scales it down to 1080. So every pixel's then got 4 pixels to make it up, and it ends up looking a lot nicer. But it's way more work for the computer to deal with. Because not only is it rendering it at 4K, it's then having to
Right.
re-render it down to 1080.
16
Jeez.
times the detail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
effectively, yeah. But in this
Hmm.
case, it's weird because I've told DCS to basically render at 50% resolution. So render at, I mean, these are almost 1080, these panels in this headset, so effectively render at what, 520-ish, something like that. But then it's super sampling it up to 1080 again.
Gotta go.
And somehow, by some dark science, that's making it look
Yeah.
pretty
Fascinating.
dang good.
Yeah, because I had that option in COD. I didn't really understand it. It's
Yeah, I
like,
think
you
games
know,
like COD, it's kind of wasted. It doesn't seem to be a fast-paced game. It's
yeah.
daft. But I guess if you had a, I think games where it's beautiful, you're sitting there looking at the scene and
Right.
going, "Oh, look at this!"
Yeah.
Like, have you
Yeah.
seen that you can mod the absolute hell out of GTA 5 and make it look almost photorealistic?
Oh, cool.
You can guarantee they're super sampling that
Hmm.
because every frame looks one. And that's, in fact, I think the video I saw was running on a 3090,
Hmm.
and it was pushing it to the max.
Right.
But every
Wow.
single, it looked like someone was driving a Bugatti or something with a
Hmm.
camera behind it.
That's
Like,
crazy.
it was raining, there were reflections, there was shadows. It looked photorealistic.
Oh, that's super cool.
It's really cool.
Back 1 sec.
What are we beeping at? What does that say? Indicate airspeed max. I don't care about that. Goodbye, autopilot.
Okay.
That's weird.
Hmm.
Oh, that's horrible. See, no, the old horizon indicators you get in aircraft, little
Yeah.
artificial
ADI.
horizon.
Yeah.
Is that
Right.
ADI? That's the one.
Yeah.
They always basically stay flat to the horizon, and then you are rolling and seeing it indicate your attitude.
Right.
Well, in this thing, the little horizon stays the same, and there's like a little yellow aeroplane that moves instead.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Right.
it's the other way around.
Fascinating.
But I think that's what
Yeah.
Russians do
You're
for some
wacky.
reason. They're crazy. Gotta land this sucker.
Well,
Must be midnight
nope.
by now.
We got the hoppers. Hoppers got a hop. Okay. Let's look. I need to break out
Oh, don't crash.
my
There we go.
fucking scoped weapon so I can fucking shoot him. Yep.
Why am I going forwards? I'm on the ground. Where's that tower gone? Oh, there it is.
Piece of shit.
Pause. What is the old time there, Sunny Jim? 12:07. Oh man. Back in 1 sec.
Damn it, where'd you come from? I need to switch weapons or switch. Nah, whatever.
Hello. Ah, there you are. Back on the old headphones. So this is good news. DCS has life once more.
That's very exciting for you.
I'm actually really pleased. God damn, they're giving up.
Ah, damn it. God damn it, I'm stuck on this fucking thing. God,
That back up there.
they got their fucking shotguns.
Right, so I'll document my experience for later.
Good. Fucking prune blocked.
Pixel density at 0.5 and Steam
Now you're dead,
sampling
asshole.
200%. GPU
Yeah,
is
didn't work, did it?
45%. Research 160.
Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Damn it. What is that fucking gun, man? Some guy's got some ridiculous shotgun. Worse than me with the fucking 725. Oh, now you're dead, asshole.
You did, son.
How in the world is that person staying alive? They're fucking standing in the gas.
Cheat, 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 cheat.
I should pull out the fucking RPG.
The role-playing game.
Yeah.
Throw a game.
like-
Hey, you! D&D! Hoppa! Distract them. Let's stand there all confused while you shoot them. Probably.
Yeah. Fuck these people.
Right, I'm going to go head off to bed. 'Twas a pleasure experiencing your company as ever.